Hi friends, welcome to the Glitter Happy Boutique. I'm going to do this video about setting or making resin witches' ruins, and I use this mold here, which of course you can get on Amazon, and I wanted to show you some examples of what I've done and how I've had some problems, I've made some mistakes, and I wanted to share those with you guys so maybe you'll learn too and yours will come out nice and they will look good. So this lesson is, well, helping you guys to not make the same mistakes that I do on my journey of learning how to create resin jewelry and trinkets and stuff. Okay, so let me take this away. So again, this was the mold I used. Not very thick. It's a silicone mold. It's for resin. You can use UV resin or you can use epoxy resin and maybe other types of resin, but I really only know about those two. Okay, so that's the mold. Here is my first attempt. So what I did here is this was UV resin, and if you don't know already with UV resin, if the color is too dark, it may not be able to cure. So this isn't terribly dark. This is a mixture of red and yellow to make this orange, and then I added glitter. So this is a really pretty color, and I like it, but yeah, I mean, the issue I had was that it didn't cure correctly. So when it doesn't cure correctly, there's parts of it that become tacky and soft, and eventually it will harden. It just, if you take it out of the mold too early, then you risk some parts of it not being completely cured, and it will get kind of soft, and it will harden eventually, but it may harden after it's already been damaged, like I did here. So what I had done is, after it came out, I put black acrylic paint all around it, and then I used a paper towel to just rub right across it, and the intention is to have the acrylic paint stay within the etching, and everywhere else it comes off. So you have to kind of be a little bit rough when you do that. And so in this case, since it hadn't cured, the ink got stuck, or the paint got stuck in the tacky parts, and they're kind of permanently in there now. The other thing I learned is when you rub the parts too hard, they may break off. I don't think I have an example here, but I will have one to show you in just a second. So this was my first attempt, and my problem was that the UV resin hadn't completely cured before I started to mess with it and put paint on here, and I was a little bit rough too. So it doesn't look good. I really tried to salvage this, but there's nothing I can do. So lesson learned for me, and hopefully you. Here's my second attempt. So now what I did here is I used epoxy resin. I didn't use UV resin, so it takes longer. This one was 24 to 48 hours of a wait time. The great thing about UV resin is, you have unlimited amounts of time to use to work with the product, and then when you put it under the UV light, it hardens. But the epoxy resin here, this particular one, you only have like 30 minutes of working time, so you have to really work fast. What I did here is I did two different colors of resin. I mixed them separately. This first one I mixed together into one container. This one I did two separate containers, and then I would do yellow and I would do red, and I would let them kind of blend in together to give this nice kind of hue, this ombre look to it. Okay, so I did wait the cure time. However, so the curing was fine in this case. It was, like I said, it was 24 to 48 hours. The issue I ran into here though was when I was wiping that ink off, if you're too rough on it, these very delicate parts, like this is an eye and there's supposed to be like an X, but you can't quite see that because a piece is broken off just from rubbing it too hard. So depending on the type of mold you're using, if you're too rough, you can actually break little pieces off. If you're doing this type of painting it with acrylic and then wiping it off, which is what I do for the etchings. Okay, so that was attempt number 2. So let me take this away. And now here's attempt number 3. I think these came out really nice. I haven't put the ink in yet because I wanted to test a few different ways to do it ahead of time. I think I have a good way now, and I might do a separate video on just how I put the ink on. But I think these came out nice. If you see the colors, I use actually 3 colors. Yellow, orange, and white to look like candy corn. The problem I had was the yellow was more of a gold because I just didn't really have yellow. I just had this. I wanted to have, I used powders this time, whereas the previous times I was using UV ink. This time I used powders. So I didn't quite get that separation between the 3. They kind of blended a little bit too well. So next time I would do more of a yellow on the bottom to really make it look like candy corn. So I wanted like a Halloween theme, witches' ruins. So it cured well. I absolutely waited the right amount of time. This one was Dr. Crafty epoxy resin, and the wait time is 72 hours, so it took a little while. So I waited an extra day, so really 4 days in total. So I know this is nice and hard and ready to go. The problem I have, besides I told you about the coloring, is there's little holes at the top, and the problem with those little snags is when you paint, the ink gets into those little holes, and what I think those are just bubbles that didn't burst before everything hardened. So what I'm going to try next time, because I'm going to try a 3rd time, and hopefully I'm going to get it right, I'm going to wait the right amount of time for it to cure. I'm also going to use a tool I got, which is for bursting the bubbles. It's a heat tool, this one here. So this is a heat gun I'm going to try to use so that I can get rid of any bubbles before it starts to set, and see if that gets rid of those little holes that I have on the edges. So that's my journey so far. I'm going to do a brown acrylic ink on these and see how they come out, and then I will top them with a UV resin dome. I still also have to sandpaper down the edges, and then I'll be done. So I will post another video showing the results of adding the brown ink, and a further video will be me actually trying my 4th time to do it right. So thanks for watching, and I appreciate if you would subscribe so I can make more videos, and I understand what you guys are looking for. Let me know what you are interested in. I am a beginner, and so I hope that this is helpful to other beginners. And if you have any tips, I'm absolutely open to hearing your ideas and comments to make this a lot more fun. Thank you.